Since 1935, one event has brought us together for the passion, the pageantry, and the celebration of the upper echelon of college football. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. New Year's Eve at noon. Don't miss El Paso's greatest game.
What's going on, everybody? It is a Tipping Point with my Tipton, hanging out with you here on this Monday afternoon, checking different streams, making sure everything is working. And it is working as of right now. Just really all I care about. All right. So we are live right here. It's going to be a short show. I mentioned that going forward on Monday afternoons, Thursday afternoons, it will be a short show because I am not going to be taking on the NFL head-to-head. I am dumb sometimes. I am not that dumb. So I will not be taking on the NFL in any way, shape, or form. But I did want to talk a little bit about what happened this past weekend in the NFL, in college football, and all those things that we've got going on. I spent the better part of yesterday and a little bit of today going over different scenarios in my head of how we can create a brand new CFP playoff, a 25-team college football playoff. I don't have the time to dive into that today, so that's what we're going to do on tomorrow's show because it's going to take a lot. And I'd like to see what type of feedback, what type of information, anything like that we can get. See how we can fix college football. Because yesterday, what we got during the Sun Bowl selection show, having to wait 3 hours, Notre Dame taking their ball and going home because they were upset. They were mad that they didn't get a bowl game. And honestly, rightfully so. Notre Dame should have been included in the bowls. But that's another topic for another day. We are launching up to Monday Night Football, getting ready for Monday Night Football as the Philadelphia Eagles take on the LA Chargers. The Chargers need to lose this game for me as a Dallas Cowboys fan. The Eagles need to win this game to just kill all hope, to just put me out of my misery, to stop me from thinking that there's a scenario that the Dallas Cowboys could make it to the playoffs. Because right now, the only scenario out there is that Dallas wins out and Philadelphia loses 3 of their next 5 games. That would be the only scenario. If Philadelphia wins today, then it means that there's no way the Cowboys would be able to get enough wins. Even if the Cowboys win out, there will be no way for them to get the amount of wins they need in order to jump over Philadelphia and win the division. So Philly, do your job. Win this game. For the love of God, please win this game, Philadelphia, and put the Dallas Cowboys fans out of their misery. No chance of possibly going to the playoffs. Just end it right now. Philadelphia, you have the ability to do that against the LA Chargers. And it's not going to be easy because LA is a good team. The Chargers are a good team. It's just, I came into this season saying Philadelphia was going to be one of the best teams in the NFL, and they spent the better part of this season just not doing that, right? And I know not having Jalen Carter is going to be a big issue. Omarion Hampton coming back for the Chargers is going to be an issue for the for the Philadelphia defense. And then you've got that really good Charger offense versus, or really good Chargers defense rather, versus a, you can't even say pedestrian, unequivocally bad Philadelphia offense. Can Philadelphia muster enough points like they've done throughout the season to get where they need to do in order to win this game? Right now, Philadelphia is a 1-point favorite at home, so that's not a good look for Philadelphia. Normally, when you go with betting odds and things of that nature, the home team will get 3 points, so you're normally a -3 win, like your win probability goes to -3 points if you're at home. Philadelphia only at -1 points, so they're still favored, but it's kind of like a push 'em game. Midea Reyes saying, you going for the Eagles? Never thought it would happen. In other news, go Pack go. Willis DeBose saying hi, hello, hope you're doing well. Hope I also pronounced your name correct. It looks like Wills DeBose, but hey, look, thank you for being here. Hello, over to you as well. Mireya's right. Congratulations are set in order for the Green Bay Packers, who beat the Chicago Bears yesterday, moving on up in the division standings. They are now leading the division. Still a chance that the Chicago Bears can win the division over the next month if the Packers take a couple of steps back, but right now they're in the driver's seat. So they control their own destiny. Can the Green Bay Packers finish it out? That's going to be the question moving forward for Green Bay. Can you finish it out? Can you make sure you handle your business against the Chicago Bears and do what you've got to do? I hope so. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Once again, Monday Night Football, the LA Chargers, 8-4, taking on the 8-4 Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you have winning this game? You look at the quarterback comparison where you have Justin Herbert taking on Jalen Hurts. And honestly, like, there's not a huge separation between these two guys. Like there genuinely isn't a huge separation in stats and anything like that, right? The biggest issue is going to be the ability to run that Jalen Hurts has that Justin Herbert can do but doesn't normally rely upon, right? So as of right now, passing yards, it's almost a push. Justin Herbert, 300 more passing yards than Jalen Hurts. Herbert with 2,842. 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The issue here is that Jalen Hurts doesn't give up the ball, right? Like, Jalen Hurts doesn't have turnovers. That's what he does best. I love whenever I get weird alerts on my phone, like Ghetto Gronk talking about Chris Collinsworth. Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over. 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So if you're the Chargers defense, you're going to have to step up, stop the run. It always feels like with Philadelphia, if you stop the run, then they've got no chance, right? Saquon Barkley leading them in rushing, 740 yards. Not the type of season some people were hoping for from Saquon Barkley, but, you know, respectable, decent enough. It was okay, the season that he's had so far. Eyeing 1,000 yards, big letdown from what he had last season, right? As far as Saquon Barkley goes. Then you've got the receivers here. Devontae Smith leading the way for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ladd McConkey leading the way for the Los Angeles Chargers. 58 receptions, 5 touchdowns for Ladd, 683 receiving yards, 60 receptions, 3 touchdowns only. 802 receiving yards for Devontae Smith. That defense is what really separates these two teams. The Chargers defense to me is incredible. It's arguably the best defense, if not one of the best defenses in the NFL. That Chargers defense, they're going to be getting after the Philadelphia Eagles, doing what they need to do. And if you remember, Adrian saying, hi, what's up, Adrian? Hope you're having a good day, sir. If you remember, the Philadelphia Eagles coming in off of 2 straight losses now, right? Lost to the Dallas Cowboys, lost to the Chicago Bears. They're looking for a way to right the ship. They've had a little more rest, having that Black Friday game that they played. The Chargers here coming in 4-1 over their last 5 games. Their only loss being to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a blowout loss, 35-6, but then they right the ship against the Las Vegas Raiders. Adrian asking how I am doing. I am doing well, sir. Hope that you are doing good on this Monday evening, pre-evening, whatever you want to call it. Having yourself a good old time. Who do you got in today's game, the Eagles or the Chargers? The Eagles, a 1-point favorite over the LA Chargers. Where it becomes a little different for these teams is that Philadelphia right now has a quote-unquote stranglehold on the division, right? Like, they're 8-4. Dallas is 6-1. If Philadelphia wins this game and puts Dallas Cowboys fans like myself out of our misery, allows us to no longer have hope anymore, Philadelphia gets a stranglehold on the division. They sail in to the playoffs. They might not be one of the top seeds in the playoffs, but make it to the dance, and then whatever happens, happens, right? Like that's all you can ask for if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Make it to the dance, and whatever happens, happens. You have a ton of experience making it to the last 2 Super Bowls, a ton of winning the last Super Bowl itself. Like, there is the possibility that if the Eagles, and let's just say win, the Eagles make the playoffs, they can right the ship and make a deep run in the playoffs. If they lose, though, they drop to 8-5, have a 1-game lead over the Dallas Cowboys in the loss column, and then allow the door to be slightly open. Once again, it's not a huge percentage that the Dallas Cowboys have of looking at making the playoffs, but it's a small chance that they've got. And it's kind of along the lines of what you look at with Kansas City, who's currently 3rd in the AFC West. Tommy Cananza saying, what's up, Tip? What's up, Tommy? Hope that you're having yourself a great day today, sir. I am needing the Philadelphia Eagles to win today to completely dash my hopes. If the Chargers win this game, it opens the door for our beloved Dallas Cowboys because it's still there, right? The Cowboys have a weaker schedule to end the season than what the Philadelphia Eagles have. We went over the schedule last week. Not going to do it again this week. They just have an easier route to get there. And we're looking at the LA Chargers, who currently sit 8-4, number 2 in the division against the Denver Broncos. They'll be able to make up a game on that, or at least half a game, because the Broncos are going to get their bye week coming up as well. But you look at that division, a 5-game lead right now for the Denver Broncos over the Kansas City Chiefs. But whenever you look at the playoff standing, and yes, we're talking about playoffs, I got to scroll up. NFL. There we go. The playoff machine is what it's called right now. In the AFC, you still have a small chance of the Kansas City Chiefs making it to the playoffs. It's a 12% chance. But as you know, we have seen time and time again games that are in like the 90th percentile of this game's going to be over in favor of Team X. Well, it happened to the Giants, I think, 5 straight weeks where they had a 90% or higher chance of winning that game according to like all the ESPN metrics and all the stuff they've got like that working for them. They had all that stuff and still found a way to lose those games. So even though it's a 12% chance for the Kansas City Chiefs to make it to the playoffs, that's still a 12% chance. And that is not a team that I think anybody wants to face. It's just not. Like the Kansas City Chiefs, you get them in the playoffs, you know Mahomes has some sort of magic. Look how they did last year. Last year they were just a middle of the road team. Sure, they were 14-2 or whatever it was, 14-3, 15-2, all of that stuff that they've got going on for them. They made it to the playoffs. They dominated their way through the playoffs until they got to the Super Bowl. Make it to the playoffs, and anything can happen unless you're the Dallas Cowboys, in which case Philadelphia win this game and put us out of our misery. Please. That's all we're asking. Although there are different scenarios. It decreases the chance. I feel like this game right here, if Philadelphia wins, truly decreases the chance. Augustine saying in the NFC, it's anyone except the Cowboys. LOL. Going on to say ESPN metrics is like UTEP getting a bowl game. LMAO. Everybody wants to face the Chiefs. LOL. I don't think so, man. Like I really don't think that every team wants to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Like the Kansas City Chiefs would be arguably the last team that I think people would want to, again, if they make it into the playoffs, right? Because you've seen Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs team create comeback after comeback after comeback, win games, even if they're down, with 13 seconds left. And I get you, Augustine. They don't have an offensive line. I think that's a real issue with the Kansas City Chiefs is doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. If he doesn't have time to throw the ball, they just don't have the ability to do it, right? Like if the quarterback doesn't have any time, then there can't really be any magic or anything like that they can try to pull off. Augustine is adamant that the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to make it. People got to remember the Houston Texans defense is legit. The Houston Texans offense, to me, that's where it's questionable. But, hey, that AFC South is still up for grabs right now, despite the fact that our Jacksonville, and yes, I said our Jacksonville Jaguars, are leading the division. The next 4 games for the Kansas City Chiefs are the Chargers, the Titans, the Broncos, and the Raiders. So they have the ability to make up games in their division because they've got 3 division games remaining out of the 4 games they have. The Titans and the Raiders, you can chalk those up as wins, right? So you have to think of, can they beat the Los Angeles Chargers? And we can all sit back and say, yes, they can. We all think there's the possibility that they can beat the Chargers. The Kansas City Chiefs can beat the Chargers. Can they beat the Broncos? In Arrowhead Stadium, both of those games, Chargers and Broncos, both those games are home games for the Kansas City Chiefs. Augustine saying Texans defense is the best in the league. It really, it's a really good defense. I don't know about best in the league. It has to be, right? Like Cleveland, we all thought Cleveland might have a really good defense. Cam Ward, of all people, gave them problems. How much of that was weather? All those other things that were going on, we all don't know, right? Like there's a lot of what ifs of what could have happened with that game in Cleveland. It was a weird game. Congrats to the Titans on getting your second win of the season. But you look at the Chiefs' schedule, and there is the possibility, Augustine, like you run the table, you get in as wild card. Because right now, looking at the wild card standings, the Baltimore Ravens and the Colts, I guess the Texans are the last team in, and the Texans are they have a 2-game lead over the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's not insurmountable, right? Like there is the possibility that they can get to the playoffs. And the playoffs, it's just like all of us. All you got to do is get into the playoffs. All you got to do is just get the tip in.
I just want to put the tip in. It's time. for Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable. Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Guys, it's that time of year. Got to take care of yourself for that person you love. Tommy's saying, damn it, it was worse because I'm still at work. I'm sorry, Tommy. My apologies. I genuinely am sorry. But yes, it is Just the Tip, brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. Ryan Woodcraft asking, what's up, Tip? Best division in the NFC, the North or the West? Man, that's a great question. I lean more towards the West just because I look at the Rams as the best team in football. I genuinely do. And I feel like they could win the Super Bowl. You wouldn't be surprised. The Seahawks with that offense, with that defense, like it feels like it's a halfway decent enough team, right? And then the 49ers, you look at the 49ers and you say to yourself, that's a really good team too. Outside of the Green Bay Packers, in the NFC North, I don't see Detroit as a Super Bowl contending team. They might make the playoffs, but they're not a Super Bowl contending team. And the same thing with the Chicago Bears. They might make the playoffs, but they're not a Super Bowl contending team. The Green Bay Packers, now that they've got Christian Watkins back, now they got Jaden Reed back, you saw yesterday what that team can do, right? Like ball control. Josh Jacobs was running the ball all down the throat of the Chicago Bears. They're the one team that I think you can say, okay, if the Green Bay Packers made the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Out of the North. I don't think you'd be surprised if San Francisco did it. I don't think you'd be surprised if Seattle did it. And nobody should be surprised if the Rams do it. So I think you have three legitimate Super Bowl contenders in the West, where in the North, you really have one, right? And I know you're going to be like, well, Tip, they just beat the Detroit Lions, just beat the brakes off the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. Good for you. Love it for you. You're still on the outside looking in. The Detroit Lions are still on the outside looking in. So for me, it's hard to say that the North is the better division than the West, just because I think you look at the West and you know you have three legitimate teams there that could make a deep run to the Super Bowl, where it feels like there's only one, because I don't think anybody trusts the Chicago Bears to make a super deep run. Ryan Woodcraft saying, you said it, not me. I did. I 100% said it. And you know, it might come back and get me. I can't believe, as we enter a month left into the season, 4 games left, that in the NFC, you have the Lions, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Cowboys still with a shot. Small as it may be, there still is a shot. And Carolina could wind up being a division winner because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been extremely disappointing. I mean, extremely disappointing. We said at the beginning of the season that the NFC South and the AFC South were going to be absolute dumpster fires. I think the AFC South is fun because the Colts are going to take a step back. I know they're working out. They're working out Phillip Rivers. Let's dust off the corpse of Phillip Rivers, reanimate it, and try to see if he can throw a football, because they don't trust Anthony Richardson at all. And this team is halfway decent, right? Daniel Jones going down with the leg injury yesterday. It sucks for him. I legitimately hope that the Colts give Danny Dimes I don't want to say long-term contract, but give him 2-3 years, right? I feel like he's earned it. The fact that he had that team leading the division for the majority of the season. They were one of the Cinderella stories of the season. And it's just, it's not going to work out for them because of that injury. So they're going out there and bringing in Phillip Rivers or the Indianapolis Colts. That's how you know you're in trouble. Augustine singing to us, "Don't stop believing." I need Philadelphia to win. Philadelphia win, and I will stop believing. But if Philadelphia loses, the hope is still there. Ryan Woodcraft saying, bigger crybaby in football, Jay Cutler or Notre Dame? Notre Dame's gripe to me, and if you watched the show yesterday, thank you for the couple thousand people that actually tuned in yesterday and watched the 3.5 hour, almost 4 hour Sun Bowl selection show that we had yesterday. Thank you. If you tuned into any of that, I appreciate it. Notre Dame's gripe is legitimate. I'm a firm believer in that. You cannot, for the better part of 2 or 1.5 months, you cannot sit there and tell people that the head-to-head between Notre Dame and Miami didn't matter. And then on the last day, on Selection Sunday, all of a sudden the committee says, oh, okay, well, now it matters. Because it should have mattered from the beginning or not. You cannot change as you move forward. That's why I say they have a legitimate gripe. Now, the way they're going about this, strong-arming now, the College Football Playoff Committee, that if they finish in the 12 seed or higher, they are automatically given a college football playoff berth. My guy, join a conference, win a conference. You cannot sit there and tell me that Notre Dame, who's in control of their entire schedule all the time because they're an independent, that Notre Dame can sit here crying because what they'll do is they'll stop scheduling good teams like Texas A&M, good teams like Miami that beat them. And what they will start doing is scheduling a bunch of cupcakes so they can go 12-0 and be ranked within the top 12. That will be the future if you continue to allow this for Notre Dame to go about doing this. Their gripe is legitimate, but the way they're trying to strong-arm the College Football Playoff Committee in the future is absolutely ridiculous. Tommy throwing tomatoes at me because I mentioned that I want the Eagles to win today. Kill the hope. That's all I'm asking for. Kill the hope. And Augustine Pimentel saying, wow, Tipton rooting for the Eagles. LOL. I'm not rooting for the Eagles at all. Notre Dame 2026 MAC champs. If you're Notre Dame, you've got to join a real conference. Either the Big Ten, because logistically that's good for you, or the ACC, because you've worked out over the last couple of years this partnership with the ACC. Obviously, you saw as Notre Dame was continuing their crusade of self-crucifixion and all that nonsense. They are at odds with the ACC, so I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happens. Notre Dame continues to be an independent and a pain in everyone's ass. All right, everybody. Monday Night Football is upon us. I thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Remember, Monday and Thursday, short shows because of the stuff that we've got going on with Monday Night Football. Tommy asking who's going to the Sun Bowl. You have the Arizona State Sun Devils versus the Duke Blue Devils. It's going to be a devilish Sun Bowl. Hopefully we'll see you all there. I'm going to be there in my media capacity doing all kinds of stuff. It was awesome watching that Sun Bowl selection show yesterday. Ryan Woodcraft saying, on behalf of the entire Big Ten, we don't want them anymore. Notre Dame, you're on the outside looking in, and you're making it real hard for people to love you. And you're super overrated anyway. Notre Dame kind of sucks. Join a conference and quit your bitching.